Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday morning edition of the Moose Minute Project. Kind of different. No bowling now for a while. So, what do? Got many options. I think I'm going to be at home a lot. Working in the shed, trying to make things better. Working in the yard. I can always be working in the yard. So, welcome to the Moose Minute Project on a Thursday morning, May Day. Yeah, that word can be used many times anymore. Mayday, Mayday. Things are about to hit the fan. I don't know. You never know. And does it really? Most things don't affect the small guy or the small lady at the bottom of a pile. You have to be pretty high up for things to be stressful and not going well. So, no Mayday call today. However, welcome to the first day of May. May you make a May basket. That's tomorrow, I think. The wife is going the annual Amish trip, with her friend, which means that the following day, May 2nd, is shovel day for Chris. Yes, that is when we plant all the stuff she found on her Amish trip to all of the greenhouses tomorrow. That's when Chris loses his truck, too. Yes, they take the truck and go to all the Amish greenhouses tomorrow before the big rush of Mother's Day and everything else. So they go and they will hit that up, and then Chris gets to plant. So that's where that'll go. Plenty of rain to keep things wet. Now we're out of the drought area, I guess. So, welcome to Nobody Did It Again. Or maybe somebody else, but nobody's taken credit for it. I see again that we are now stating, and I say we because he is the president, so I guess he represents us. And people can say, oh, he's not he is. Okay? I'm not that dumb. I'm not that ignorant either. However, let's get over the fact of blaming Biden for anything now. You've been in the office now for 100 days. So to say the stock market is not your problem, it was from Biden yet, is kind of a BS, blame somebody else kind of thing. You know, they used to drive everybody nuts at work is when something would get damaged, or you'd go to get ready to deliver something to a customer and there'd be a scratch in it, or something would be done. And then you'd go, well, nope, nobody. That nobody caused a lot of damage. That nobody that didn't want to take responsibility cost a lot of damage in money, resources, in labor hours of trying to figure it all out and to fix the problem, and then being billed for the problem because nobody wanted to claim for it. We all need to take responsibility for our actions. We all need to step up to the game, no matter how painful this could be, to say, hey, it was me. Hey, I did that. You know, I think when I look back at things, there's a story that comes to mind. My mom had a Monte Carlo at the time, and I was down at the bowling alley in Aiken. Imagine that. Weird. Those that know me, and I was at a bowling alley. Weird. But a car wouldn't start, so I thought, I'll just push it with Mom's car. Well, the Monte Carlo had a hood ornament that stood up, and it knocked it off. It actually broke it. So a buddy of mine says, hey, just tell your mom, this something. I said, no, not going to happen. I'm going to tell her what happened. So I walk in. Of course, she was pissed about it, but it was a hood ornament, so not a big deal. The next day, my mom's at the bowling alley and said, hey, what happened to Chris in the car? I saw the horn ornament got popped off, and he was out by the road there. Yep, he told me. See, there's the big thing. My mom knew at school what my behavior was with the drinking portion, with anything else I happened to do with my buddies there. It was an open book because I knew sooner or later she would find out. I think my kids slowly are learning, and I say slowly, they're in their 20s, mid-20s to 30s now, that they are learning that their dad knows a whole lot of people, and that I hear things. Kind of like yesterday, I go to a bowling meeting at a bowling, weird, this is just weird. I don't know, I don't get it. I meant to spend a lot of time at bowling alleys. Because I'm kind of a nerd, I guess. Guy walks up and says, "Hey, Chris, heard your son's windshield got broke in his squad." I said, "Really? Didn't know anything about it." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, heard it got cracked or broke or shattered, something." I said, "Well, I don't know." So I messaged my kid. Yep, window got broke. See, I hear things because people know who my son is, and they know me. And then I learn things. And then I'm able to report back to say, please don't, and not that I expect him to call me every time something happens like that, but it was funny because it just proves that things go around and they come back from people that you know. I had a great discussion with a gentleman yesterday about his son and my son, and we both learned things. And it was a great time. And we both just laugh about it because our kids are, of course, both in law enforcement. And it is very funny that we have to do the same thing with our kids because our kids are totally different than the old style law enforcement guys. I think the old style law enforcement guys used to talk and this kind of thing, and these kids these days are tight-lipped. They don't talk about much because of the repercussions that could happen. The new day law enforcement protocol is totally different. I'm a criminal justice major. I hung out with cops between my 21s till I was 25. And there was some shady shit. There was no doubt about it. And not saying bad. I'm just saying there were things handled differently now because there's not all of the flip-phone cameras looking at everybody or trying to make a viral sensation out of what they're doing. So yeah. And how I am having a struggle of a time right now is we have a president that has been convicted of felons. Okay? The felonies. He's a felon. Correct? I'm not making any more statement than that. I'm not going to go this way or that. Whether it was, Chris, it's just paperwork or whatever it may be. He's a felon. Correct? We can all agree. He has felons. And he is a felony. So how do you explain to somebody that's not familiar, let's say from overseas, wherever, and they go, he's a felon. Yep. We don't allow them in the military, correct? They're not allowed. If you have a felony, you're not allowed to be in the military. But yet he's the head of the military. The buck stops here, is what they say. Don't think if you're a felon, you can become a police officer. But yet he's in charge of all of that as a felon. You're not allowed to go to certain countries with a felony. So that's hence why we have other people traveling. And yet we're all okay with it. And I shouldn't say we are all. His approval rating, I think right now is at 42%. Because nobody can take credit for all of the shit shows that happen. They back each other up. They support each other's stories. They're happy about each other. Nobody's getting fired. And both sides of the aisle seem to be just putting along for the most part. When are we going to... We all talk. When we all talk, and everybody does, they want the Democrats to tell the truth and be straightforward. And the Democrats want the Republicans to tell the truth and be straightforward. But yet, when it comes to their party and their stories, they're like, yeah, well, the other part, they do it. So I'm not going to worry about it. If our kids behaved this way when they were younger, and they lied for friends, or they lied for this and they did that, I know what would have happened when I was younger. I'd had my ass spanked pretty good to deal with those. So there would have been repercussions. But I think we've just become to the point of, yeah. Have you ever gone anywhere and watched kids behave these days? Like to Walmart is a prime example. Or a restaurant when you're out to eat and kids are involved and they're all screaming. I only had to do that once. I got the look from across the table. I pushed it once and I would never do it again. Yeah. But I also lived in a time when parents of other kids could discipline the other kids. So there were a few times that I got my ass chewed downtown when I was on my three-wheeler or whatever when I was little by another parent. And you knew that that parent was going to tell your parent, and then it was going to become very bad. So everybody had kind of like the old community policing is what I would call it, or parenting. Community parenting would be more along the lines. So when do we start community parenting? And it shouldn't be parenting when they're in their 70s and 80s. But we have allowed everybody to lie so much in that government that I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. But it does seem the word MAGA makes it big, flamboyant arrogance. Because they feel that putting people down for their beliefs and just wanting common sense are not appropriate. When are we going to quit putting the burden on the people before? It was kind of funny when we saw the pictures of him sleeping at Pope's funeral as well. Biden did it, and Biden did this, and Biden did that. I don't give a shit. Yeah, when they both did it, it was wrong. Everybody was having a fit when he was looking at his watch at the transfer of the dead soldiers. Well, at least he showed up. At least he was there. Not at some golf event. See, that's what I'm talking about. We can talk politics. And we can talk these things. But we have to be open-minded on both sides. But when somebody has a complaint right now about Mr. Trump, you're considered an idiot, a baby killer, whatever it may be. Until you agree with him, you are not welcome currently to voice your opinion without getting verbally bashed. It's kind of funny. I've seen two people post a lot on a gentleman that was a teacher of mine in high school. Highly respected. I greatly appreciated him as a band teacher. I greatly appreciated him as a human being. He has been very vociferous about the disapproval of Mr. Trump. And the same people are stuck drinking the Kool-Aid of the party, and they continue to not do anything but name call and belittle and be very disrespectful to somebody. See, that's where I struggle. I struggle with that portion as a human being in general. If you have to prove your point by being disrespectful and belittling, and then trying to show that you're arrogant about how great things are, if you look around, things are not great. We are in a mental health crisis, which everybody laughs at. When you see the laughing emoji on serious posts, and there's some people that I know personally going through some serious shit right now. Serious shit. And yet they get pummeled by belittling, name-calling bullshit. It's pretty sickening. It's really sickening, actually, where we cannot be supportive. We're also, I haven't figured out why all these Trump supporters can't at least admit that there's shit going sideways. Oh, wait, that would prove that. See, it doesn't prove that you're wrong by voting for him. You can have your disappointment. At least then you're human in my mind to say, boy, shit went side. I never approved with a lot of things that Biden did. Okay? Or what the Democratic Party does. But I want to take care of people. And I want to make sure they're taken care of. I just saw the other day now where Alzheimer's research is going to get cut. Major funding. So is cancer research. Because of Health and Human Services, that portion of it, Robert Kennedy, is going to cut all of this funding. And why is it? Why are we doing, we got to save billions of dollars. Has anybody really seen the effects of that? Are grocery prices down? The last time I went, not so much. I just paid $3.09 at the pump at the gallon again. At the gas. $3.09. Yeah. It's higher now than it was at election time. And then there's the excuses that come after that. Well, this or that, or this or that. You know, the Postmaster General just said that they're going to cut 20,000 jobs in the USPS. Did you ever think that when they show it as a big cluster and that it's not going well, that's when somebody's going to make the point that the government shouldn't have it anymore and we should prioritize it and put it in privatization? Yeah. That's how it works. See, you got to show failures in order to shoot your agenda and prove it. Kind of like tariffs. I've seen enough tariffs, and we're going to see more. And have you taken an actual look at the ports? Are the ships there unloading? Are they doing? Yeah, I think things are down. But yet we continue to hear how great things are. Prices are down, plenty of eggs, blah, blah, blah. Let's tell the truth. And if you're on the right side, you cannot be 100% happy right now with everything going on. And to have an approval rating of 42%, if you're at 100 on the right, then the left's at 100, you know, at least admit where things are going wrong. And quit with the BS, quit with trying to quiet the media, fake news, bullshit scenario. It won't be long when there's no news, period, because it's a whole lot easier that way. So, I guess nobody did it again. If you want to get away with stuff, nobody did it. No, nobody. That word pisses me off because I heard it for years in the power sports world when something would happen go wrong. I don't know who did it. Don't know. Nobody. Somebody. Nope, nobody. That nobody is in trouble. If you could ever find him. So, it's a rainy day here in southwest Wisconsin. It's supposed to be beautiful by Sunday, so we'll see. The grass is definitely green. I have mowed 3 times now already. Gonna have to mow again probably Sunday. Gotta go over and mow Dad's place. That takes about 3.5 minutes though, so that's not so bad. If I could get the zero turn over there, which I could, it would take me about 30 seconds because it's a swipe both sides and then like 2 swipe ups up front. But the zero turn doesn't fit in his yard. So it's push more. It's good exercise for me. So have a great day. Take time to bless somebody today. And if you do something wrong, take responsibility for it. Step up. Say, hey, it was me. Just like the other day at work here, I pinned quite a few lights wrong, backwards. Had to tell Jacob, sorry, screwed up. But it was kind of weird. I pinned the first bunch right, and then my brain flipped. And my brain does that once in a while. What I think is right is wrong in that scenario, and not in other scenarios. But with the brain injuries, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month, May is, so take time to check on your friends and your neighbors. So have a great day. Again, if you did something, step up to the plate, take responsibility, take the licks, as my mom would say. Have a great day. I'll have big news tomorrow on a couple of items for my second annual Marcy Strikeout Alzheimer Baker Shootout, November 8th at the Phoenix Center. I think the same time is going to be around 10:30, and we'll be done about 5, 6 o'clock, somewhere in there. Yeah, I'll have big news about some sponsors for that. So we will talk soon. And as always, take time to bless somebody today.